Well, you know how most golfers you watch on television seem to have this effortless, simple-looking golf swing. The club seems to move in a channel that seems to be poetic and beautiful. A bit like if you watched Usain Bolt running, it looks rhythmical, it looks slow, effortless, even though he's going extremely fast. And it's similar to that to the best golfers in the world. When they swing the golf club, how they recruit their muscles, how they move the club, just makes it look so effortless. Today I'd like to share with you, if possible, just how we can control the plane of your golf swing and how you can make adjustments based on how I'm going to teach you to understand your swing plane and understand the differences between flat, upright, under and over, and on plane or on the rotary arc in the golf swing. So I'm going to share with you some real simple things that are going to allow you to understand, hopefully, your golf swing better and understand the changes maybe that you might need to make in order to make you play better. So the swing plane is quite a confusing subject, and it's referred to by different things, by different people. And the importance of it, I think, changes coach to coach, player to player, and so on. Most of the best players would have the swing plane in the rough, similar state. Some will be slightly more upright, like a Justin Thomas, and some will be more flatter, let's say like a Matt Kuchar. But they both work for them, and they both have a template that they can follow for each other to know where to get back into that same position over and over again. First thing I want to do is share with you an idea of what being on plane would be, an idea what an upright plane would be, and an idea what a flatter plane would be, and an idea then of what an under and over plane would be, both in the backswing and downswing. So we're going to do an exercise called tracing. So I've got this blue rod here, roughly on my ball to target line, like so. And it doesn't matter where the target is, it can be any target you want to choose, but it's down on your ball to target line, just on the ball line as we've got it there, or as near as damn it. Take a second rod, place it down the shaft like so, so it sticks out at the end. Take your grip, address the ball. Now in an ideal world, actually we're going to address the stick, the rod. As we swing the club back now, the shaft of the club should point to that rod down below. As we get to parallel, it'd want to be parallel to the stick. Now as we get into the higher end of the swing here, now I'd want the yellow stick to point to the blue stick. Now, regardless of where I am here, if you notice there, that's pretty much at the blue stick. If I made the swing more upright, like a Justin Thomas, it can still point to the blue stick, but it's in a more upright position, meaning that it's more vertical. If I lowered my arms like this, like a Matt Kuchar, it could still point to the blue stick, but that would be in a flatter position. So you could go from being flat to upright, but still what we class as relatively on plane. Now, the dangers become when we become what's called underplane. So if this pointed above the stick, that would now become underplane, as we would describe it, or too rounded or too low. Now, if you swing back under, the tendency is then to get it more upright in the top of the backswing as a counteraction. If you swing too under and stay there, well, then your swings can become a little bit too short. If you become above plane, so the stick points inside the blue line, the tendency is then from there, it's very difficult to shallow the club unless you match it up with a really big turn. Then you've got a chance. Big turn, as you unwind, you've got a chance to shallow the club. Same on the way down. So if we go to the top of the swing and on the way down, if the club goes above that blue line, that would be on a underplane look or extremely shallow look. And I have quite like that for a lot of golfers because most golfers don't do this enough. And then from there, obviously, we can make it onto plane as we get nearer to the golf ball. However, if you got over plane on the way down, so the stick points back inside this blue line, that becomes now very weak. From there, then we have to kind of reduce our body action, arch our wrists to get the club on ball. And again, if it was on plane, that'd also be good. But the tendency with the modern players these days is to try and get a little bit shallower than that early on to allow for more body rotation later on to square the club up. So when you're looking for that max body rotation through the ball, having a slightly shallower downswing tends to fit and match that better. The key thing is here I'd like you to do is go to your garden, get some sticks like this and have a look at what your plane is naturally. Have a look at where you feel you are. So if you find yourself pointing at the blue stick or close, then I'd say that's pretty good. If you find yourself way inside here, then it'll probably do you some good to feel that you get a little bit shallower, a little bit more pointing to the blue stick, or even practicing above the blue stick as a drill to make a change. If you find that you're whipping it early on and it points above the blue stick early in the backswing, well then it's a good idea to keep this stick on your body and then pointing down to the blue stick as you go back to make your swing more vertical. So you'll tend to have tendencies, and the shoulders tend to match this. So people with a flatter plane will tend to have a flatter shoulder plane and so on. So what we're really looking for is you to understand whether your swing becomes a little bit too upright or a little bit too flat, and what will happen as a consequence to that. Now, if you tend to have an upright backswing, but hit nice draw shots, well, I probably wouldn't touch it. If you have an upright backswing but hit slice shots, then I'd be trying to get it flatter. That's going to help you. If you tend to hit pushes and hooks and you have an upright backswing, don't touch it. If you have pushes and hooks and you have a flat backswing, I'll try and make it a little bit more upright. That's probably going to help you massively. Same with your downswing, but your downswing obviously is going to be quite false. Obviously, if we know we want to practice shallowing, we can practice swings like this, turn through the ball, make sure the stick doesn't hit us. That gives us an opportunity to practice shallowing the swing, turning onto it, and having a real stable hand action. So what I'd recommend is you do some practice swings like that to get a feel, a sense of where you are in the kind of global space, in the rotary arc and what's going on. And if you need to encourage one thing, as I said to you, let's encourage it. What you can do then is when you go to the golf ball, I'll just move this back here, touch. And a real simple thing to do is get a tee and put it in the end of the club. That then becomes the rod. So if I was trying to make my swing flatter, I would try and keep a tee above the blue stick now as I swing the golf club. And for me, that's a good feel, especially in transition, to try and feel this tee is higher. Let me try and hit a shot now with that thought in mind. Definitely felt different. Felt quite deliberate, which is again the idea. What I'm trying to do in this swing when you're practicing is good to feel very deliberate, and then when you play to feel very natural. Don't when you're feeling deliberate when you play. I want it to be a very natural move and a simple thought concept. Hopefully this has given you a better understanding of where your plane is, and then depending on your shot pattern, what you might need to influence to make a difference to your ball flight to hit it straighter. So I hope you've enjoyed today's take on just understanding the swing plane or the rotary arc a little bit better. Pete Cowan always referred to it as a rotary arc, which is why I do sometimes too. One of my biggest influences in my early days of coaching, spent a bit of time with Pete, and he helped me tremendously in my coaching and development. So if you have enjoyed today, please click like and also share the video. If you have any questions or comments or requests for videos, please post them down below. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And if you've asked for a request in the video, I'll try and put it on my list of filming to make sure we get some content that is really ideal for you and that's going to help you improve your golf quicker and in the right areas. So thank you for tuning in today. Thank you for joining me at the Forest of Arden. If you haven't already subscribed, please make sure you hit my logo down this bottom corner and also hit the bell icon to make sure you get the up-to-date notifications. Thanks again for watching. See you again here soon.